The Boston Celtics have been a semi-surprising team this season. Most people saw them as like the fourth or third best team in the East, but they're the second best in the East. And it's been riding on the back of Isaiah Thomas, who has been unbelievable. For a while, people said this team is one first-option superstar away from being contenders. Well, with the eruption of Isaiah Thomas, averaging 29 points a game, they have their first option. They just need a second option now, which makes Danny Ainge's job a lot easier. Now, a lot of Celtics fans were pissed that Danny Ainge and the Celtics didn't make a trade for a superstar at this deadline. But I will explain why not making a trade for a star would be very smart. You see what I did there? Yeah, I'm sorry, that was really bad. At first, I was with a lot of Celtics fans on this one. Hell, here's the original thumbnail of this video. Yeah, I jumped the gun at first too. But if you really stop and look at this for a minute, it might be a genius move for the Celtics to wait for free agency and hold on to their Nets picks. I think some Celtics fans don't seem to understand that the Celtics have what will probably be the first pick in the draft in 2017 and 2018. Those picks could be Markelle Fultz and DeAndre Ayton. Those two are future superstar caliber players. If the Celtics traded those picks, and in turn those players, for let's say Paul George, they would be trading two future superstars for a 27-year-old question mark superstar. Yes, PG and IT could win a championship or two, but in the near future, those guys will get a little old, and I don't think the Celtics will find another Paul Pierce KG trade that gave them the picks that are the subject of this video. So if the Celtics wait until free agency, rather that's this year's free agency and they sign Gordon Hayward, or next year's and they sign Paul George, they will have one of those guys and those picks. Now let's say for this hypothetical the Celtics sign Gordon Hayward. Because rumor has it, Paul George really wants to be a Laker. I don't know why. They have Hayward and IT. They draft Markelle Fultz, who comes off of the bench at first, but eventually gets to start at the 2, because he's like 6'4", so he can play shooting guard. They have that team for a year. Maybe they win a ring, maybe they don't. Then next year they could draft DeAndre Ayton, who, if you don't know, is a 7-foot shooter who's athletic and a really good defensive player. At the 5 spot, who is projected to be the first pick in the draft in 2018. So if that happens, their lineup would be IT at the 1, Fultz at the 2, Hayward at the 3, Horford at the 4, and DeAndre at the 5. And off of the bench, they'd have Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Jaylen Brown. If we simulate 5 seasons, they would probably win a few rings. Then Isaiah, Hayward, and Horford are a little too old and they can't carry this team anymore. But by then, they will have Fultz, DeAndre, and Jaylen Brown in the primes of their careers with a roster full of vets who could still have plenty to contribute to a championship team. And by then, LeBron will either be retired or no longer able to contribute to the Cavs on the level that he does now. So in conclusion, if the Celtics trade their picks for a superstar, they could compete for like 5 seasons. If they hold on to those picks, they could compete for 10 to 15 seasons with a roster full of young stars and veteran champions. I'd even say there would be a glory year or two where Fultz, Brown, and DeAndre are stars as well as Isaiah and Hayward, still able to make major contributions at that point. At the same time, I think Danny Ainge could be making a brilliant move by not making a move. Sometimes the best trade is not making a trade at all. That's the end of this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and cue that outro music.
Let's get rich and buy our parents' homes in the south of France. Let's get rich and give everybody nice sweaters and teach them how to dance. Let's get rich and build a house on a mountain, making everybody look like ants from way up there.